Welcome to Garage Sales Unhinged.
where the characters are as quirky as the finds.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Jake.
Join us as we dive into the wild world of garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, and anywhere secondhand sales are happening.
From bizarre bargains to hilarious haggles.
You won't believe the stories we've got lined up.
Let's get unhinged.
No one saw it, Jake, but are you drinking?
Yeah, it's a glass of wine.
Oh, you're fancy drinking. I had so we're recording in the evening, and I had made some blistered shishito peppers in the air fryer.
Those are so good, yeah.
Well, so the husband and I, we were introduced to those, and I know I'm going to come across as pretentious. I don't care. We were introduced to those in Spain because whenever you go to the bars in Spain, they give you either blistered shishito peppers or olives to eat at the bar. So instead of like peanuts or pretzels or something, because anything salty makes you want to drink more. Well, there, their largest export is olive oil. Spain has a lot of really good olive oil. But then they also have a lot of shishito peppers. And during the heat of summer, and you just want to sit at a bar and drink and, hang out with friends for hours on end. It was like the best little appetizer snack at the bar, and just getting roaring drunk. It was great.
So you still get the salt thing, but it didn't have to come out of a big bag. It's like
It was salt without the carbs. So,
right. And
but
that's
yeah.
why the Spanish look the way they do.
Oh, ole. But so yeah, this evening I made some blistered shishito peppers as part of my dinner, and it's always you don't know what you're getting with the shishito pepper. For the most part, they're not spicy, but every once in a while you'll get one that somewhere along its lifespan had sex with the jalapeno.
Yeah.
And I had 2 of those this evening, and I had to quickly eat cheese to cool off my mouth.
It's always a good time when you break in case of emergency thing. It's like there's a block of Gruyere in there,
I mean, honestly, cheese, is there anything it can't do?
Right. Yeah, I think the first time I had shishito was just like blindly getting it at some sushi place. It's like, well, sure, why not? And wow, it been a minute since I've had a religious experience, but I think that qualifies.
So is this now a podcast to talk about our favorite foods?
It should be. I figured. I kind of get the feeling all podcasts are a little bit loose. They're ostensibly about something, but
Yeah.
they're often not, and that's okay.
Well, I will say this. I feel like the ones that don't necessarily follow a formula, those are the ones that are making millions of dollars. So if we just keep on this path of doing whatever we want, the money will roll in. ...
Profit. I agree. That works for everyone else. It's how everything is running now, and we're absolutely doing it great. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we need to rename the podcast. That's easy. There's no disruption happening if you do that, right? Because it's Garage Sales Unhinged, but it's not more often than not,
Yeah. But I still like the unhinged word.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just Julie and Jake unhinged? But then I feel like that's kind of like exhibit A in whatever court proceedings we have.
Yeah, and I got to figure, if nothing else, that for SEO purposes, we're probably not as much of a draw as the word garage sale. So
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of do rank up there whenever someone's looking for a garage sale. And then they stumble upon us. And honestly, if you're looking for a good, fun Saturday morning activity, listen to the podcast and then go out to the garage sale and haggle until like your life depends on it.
And damn it, let us know what you find.
Yeah.
Let us know what you passed up. Let us, come on. We've seen a thing or two, and you don't have anything we haven't seen. Let us know whether you think it was a good deal or not.
Right. And also let us know your thoughts and feelings about shishito peppers.
We're here for all of that. And Julie, I'm curious about not so much your feelings. as your brother, I famously, disregard those. But I am interested in your thoughts around this question.
Perfect.
What's something that you're nostalgic for? Or rather, as the English major nerd I am, what is something for which you are nostalgic?
Are we talking about like a product? Are we talking about a book? Are we talking about like
Hey
back in
man,
my day?
like this this is your moment. You get to decide that. There's not a
Okay.
wrong answer.
I feel like there is. So I want to say that I'm nostalgic for. So I had this conversation with some friends at a New Year's Eve party because I'm a delight. Um, but I feel like I'm nostalgic for original storytelling. And here's my soapbox: the Disney show Hannah Montana, and there's talks of it coming back, reprising it. Like, I don't really need to see Miley Cyrus as
Right.
Hannah Montana
Yeah. That'd be pretty
anymore.
dark. Yeah.
But that is the story. That whole story arc is Jim and the holograms. Because Jim, they didn't know that Jim was a rock star. She had I was going to say split personality. That's not it. But Hannah Montana, where you had the Miley Cyrus character as one person, and they couldn't connect the Clark Kent dots over to Hannah Montana. Jim and the holograms was the first iteration of that.
Can I just offer two quick things? So I'm watching you speak, and it seems like when you're saying the Jim and the holograms, you're saying Jim with an M?
Yes?
Because I think it's with an N, because it's not Jim.
No?
Oh wow, that changes everything for me.
It's GEM, Jim and the
Jim.
holograms.
Wow, I thought it was like JYM or JYN or something. Wow.
Well,
I
now
really
you have me second guessing
like
myself.
it.
Oh, no, sorry. It is JEM. JEM.
Oh, well, okay, well then I still need to reevaluate things. With you, Julie, I'm surprised you know enough about Hannah Montana to have this feeling about
I know enough because it pisses me off.
it.
Like, it came out and it was such a big show and a lot of success for Disney. But then I'm like, Jim did it first, and Jim was cooler. She was just she was amazing. I think she also solved crime, so that's right up there in my alley.
The truth is, and more people are saying it, it's very, very true. She was truly outrageous.
See, you know what I'm talking about.
I remember that Jim and the holograms was your foil to our brother and I watching Transformers. Uh,
Yes.
it was kind of dueling Saturday morning, fet, So, but you're saying, so to get back to the original question, you're nostalgic for original storytelling. You're not liking the recycled IP, kind of trap we're stuck in.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find original stories because especially whenever think about movies and TV shows and stuff, they're trying to anytime that they try to reprise an original, like the A Team came back as they were going to try to redo that TV show and it flopped. Um, Part of it is that the A Team, the original one, whenever it came out, was new and timely for that generation. And then trying to recreate that and fit that mold for a new generation, not the same. Movies. I mean, if they ever, and mark my words, again, this is Exhibit A in my court proceedings. If they ever try to remake The Princess Bride, I'm going to cut somebody.
Yeah, they do need to kind of keep hands off with all of Rob Reiner's stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Are you planning a garage sale, yard sale, or estate sale and need some help? Look no further than Garage Sale Supply. They provide top-notch resources and expert advice to help you host the perfect sale. From pricing tips to promotional strategies, they've got you covered. Visit GarageSaleSupply.com and make your next sale a success.
I kind of feel like there's a really valid point in what you're saying is that you've
Of course
got
it's- Hey, of course it's valid. I said it.
this right. But no, like you've got this piece of art that resonated at some point, and to try to update it for a new generation. You know, art is contextual. Like it sprung from some experience that is, important to people that were around when it was made and when it was originally available to experience. And you want to redo it for somebody, the context has changed, and so it's probably not going to land the same way.
Yeah. I also think talking about art specifically, whenever art is created, you tend to have a group of people that support it, support that artist, and give validity to the value of it. And so whenever you try to go and recreate it in a new generation and a new group, again, they're trying to fit a formula and not trying to fit the authenticity behind how the art was made.
So for me, that kind of cuts to some pretty interesting stuff. Like the whole idea of trying to adhere to a formula is probably, it kind of feels like the whole interest in doing that is like, hey, okay, we've got a template for making money. You
Mhm.
follow the template, dot, 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 profit. Whereas originally, like, sure, like art, even back then, I mean, any Rob Reiner movie was still a venture of some sort, and people had to be convinced to invest in it.
Yeah.
But it was original stuff. It wasn't we're going to try to recreate a prior success necessarily.
Right.
And they're like, I know we've had this conversation before. It's kind of like it feels like there's a sort of it feels like there's some sort of demarcation in time where a speculative venture, a big part of it was just on the bona fides of the people involved. Like they know what they're doing, and that is the selling point. You are not necessarily the template, but you're the reason I believe in this thing to the point that I'll invest in it.
Right.
Not okay, you've mapped out and optimized this thing, and I'm expecting exponential returns because of that.
Yes, all of that. How does this relate to nostalgia?
So, can you have nostalgia for something that you haven't directly experienced?
I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
Well, this is what I was wondering. Is like, uh, the kind of the root of all of this is an observation that's been made recently by a lot of publications and people that watch how money is being spent and everything like that in kind of a ascendance of retro gaming as being more and more of interest to a younger generation. Your Zoomers, your Gen Alphas, and things like that. It's like very much for probably retro stuff in general, but just for the purposes of this conversation, gaming. Not so much interested in the latest PlayStation or Xbox or AAA title, but more. I mean, you've seen the products where you can buy little standalone controllers that have all sorts of retro games loaded into them. You just plug it into the TV and away you go.
Mhm.
Things like that. Um, this sort of bite-size arcade boxes. You can play Pac-Man, and that's all it is. It's Pac-Man. Those things doing fairly well among that cohort. And it's a question as to whether, well, is that nostalgia or is that something else?
Well, so I had to look up the the meaning of the word nostalgia. So I'm going to read it because I'm like, well, am I thinking about nostalgia in a way that uh maybe I was thinking about it wrong. I would like to clarify for our listeners, I was right. So
Yeah, I do love that the energy you're bringing into this is like the best of wedding toasts or presentations. Is you're going, Webster's dictionary defines nostalgia. Yeah, this is perfect.
actually it's the Oxford language. Anyway, it's a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. The key word here is typically. doesn't mean that you have to have a personal association with it. So to your point, I think of, today's youth, and there's some people that they do not want to have a smartphone,
Hmm.
and they like being able to, you know, hey, I don't have a smartphone. I don't want to. A lot of younger people are not on social media. Um, they may have a flip phone, but like it's not a smart device.
Hmm.
And even in like that thought process, and I don't know if they're doing it because of nostalgia or if it's more of like the freedom that we had as kids, where like if we didn't use a payphone to call mom and dad, they wouldn't know.
Right.
um and I think there's a desire to go back to a simpler life, less connectivity. I had so true story. I had a work peer. I work for myself, but I had a work peer. Um, she wanted me to get on Slack, and so that way we had a group Slack going on, and that way that they could message things back and forth on this project that we were working on together. And I said, sure, not a problem. I'll get on Slack. We'll message. And whenever we met, she's like, oh, well, Julie, I hadn't seen you respond to that Slack message. I was like, well, when did you send it? And she was like, well, last night at like 6 o'clock. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I don't have it on. I don't have it on my phone. I have to turn it on my computer to even see anything. I was like, yeah, I'm not on there all the time. She's like, well, how am I supposed to get you? I'm like, call, text, like, I don't care. Like,
Or just don't after this hour. You just don't expect it is probably the better answer.
well, no, I mean, part of it is I don't want to be as easily accessible as I once was, because I noticed how much unnecessary stress that gave to my life. And
Right.
so I am actually less connected now than I was 2 years ago,
Right.
3 years ago. And also, the people that need to reach me or want to reach me, they know how to reach me.
Right.
And the people that, that maybe they don't know me personally, like, how do I get a hold of you? It's like, you only need to get a hold of me if we're in a professional setting. So like, that's fine.
Yeah. These are capabilities that you unlock, These
Yeah.
your XP is not high enough. You have to get to that level.
Well, but I think it's one of those things. And again, I don't know if it's particularly nostalgia, but it is one of those things of, I don't want to work all the time. I don't want to be connected all the time. And just let me watch my Bridgerton in peace and don't bother me. Also, I'm binge watching Bridgerton right now. I'm getting caught up on all the seasons.
I really can't speak to that, but given your interest in Hannah Montana, I can only guess it's high quality.
Bridgerton is really good, but so side adventure, it's kind of like your show, Downton Abbey,
Mm.
where it's high society, British based.
I know enough about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And but I have, like I said, I've been binge watching it. Binge watched it over the holidays. I'm almost through all of season 3. I know that there's a season 4 coming out, but I found myself picking up the mannerisms of the people in the show.
That's not good.
I was somewhere and
Are you getting the pox? Are you
no, there was a kid running around at like a restaurant, and I
Oh.
just turned and looked. I was like, where is this child's father?
Yeah.
It's just, no, Julie, it's fine.
I was kind of hoping you were picking up the bare knuckle boxing and doing hat pins and stuff like that. But
The bare knuckle boxing I'm reserving for you and our brother. So
okay, cool, great.
sibling activity.
So no, that's what I wondered, is whether nostalgia is something that's the way I've thought about it is, okay, it's a yearning for something previously experienced. And you focused on the word typical in that definition. I focused on the word personal. Because I feel like there might be maybe a bit of a spectrum, whereas you or I might be nostalgic for something we have experienced, but if a younger set finds some appeal, like if you're describing for them the way things were, it's not that they're nostalgic, they're just making an informed decision. Like, whether between these alternatives, I'd rather have that thing. And so maybe it's not so much nostalgia as it is wishful thinking.
Well, so here's And this is where it kind of gets murky for me. Like there's nostalgia and I've experienced this before and I want to go back to that time in my life to experience it again. But then again, if I haven't experienced it myself, then, in my mind, I could romanticize an idea.
Right.
But again, is that nostalgia? Is it romanticizing an idea? So you and I have talked about it before. I read a book called The Gilded Edge, and it talks about how Carmel by the Sea in California was developed. I love this book. It's kind of like a research book. It's kind of historical nonfiction because they pieced together some of the gaps in the research that the author did about the people that were real people in the story. But the way that it was written and the story that it was told, I want to go see and experience Carmel by the Sea so badly because I've read about it in this book. And so is that nostalgia because I want to go on the same trails that these people hiked? I want to go to the same beach and have a picnic. Like, is that nostalgia or is that romanticizing?
Well, I feel like nostalgia is for a personal experience. You want something back, you know? And then that's why I wonder is like, okay, if the retro gaming stuff is taking off with the younger set, it's not nostalgia. Like they didn't have their frame of reference began before those things were available.
Right.
Those things were available. So it's wishful thinking, it's marketing, it's maybe word of mouth, but also maybe there is more to it than that. I've heard the conversation go that like why on earth would kids want the retro stuff when the alternative with like the more recent offerings in that category are that you need to subscribe to this thing.
Yeah.
And pay a monthly fee. And it doesn't preclude you from the ads that will surround the experience. So that's what's going on. And you can look, you pay the monthly fee, you wade through the ads, you get rid of the pop-ups, and then somebody half your age can, yell slurs at you over the headset. What's not to like? Or you can buy this thing and it's yours outright.
Yeah.
There's something finite about that. And because it's finite, it's dependable. Its limits and they're not going to change.
Okay, so let's talk about video games back in the day.
Right.
Back in our day. Video games and how they have transitioned to what some of them are today. Video games back when we were growing up, it was really let's just lay it out there. I'm not a gamer, never have been. I love watching people play, but my thumbs don't do what my brain is telling it to do. So I don't video game.
I can testify to that. Many moments spent as a very frustrated brother watching my sister really struggle with like level 2 in Mario. Going, give me that controller.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of practice in either because you and our brother constantly hogged it. Also, I didn't really care. I just go read a book. But I even think about like whenever you guys would have friends over, it was a community building experience.
Right.
Where today people can download things on their computer and they may have a community experience, but they never see that person that they're gaming with. It's just their friend online.
Right.
And I think it's one of those things of if people want to build that type of in-person community, is it nostalgia for, hey, I want to own this thing. I want people to come over. We're going to have a game night, good old fashioned game night, even though they may never have lived in that generation of it. And just to sit around, laugh at an old game or a new game.
Wait your turn.
Yeah. And also like
fart up the place with all the other nasty boys. Yeah. Like you described that experience to somebody that's never had it. And it might take a little selling because they're used to the convenience over here. I turn on the Xbox and an 8-year-old calls me all sorts of bad things. That's what I'm paying a monthly fee for.
Right. Jake, you can save that. I'll call you all the bad things.
Well, at a lower
Oh, and
price.
at a fraction of the cost.
Right. But that's part of the thing is that, the appeal to that generation of buying something and owning it after you have paid for it
Yeah.
and the transaction is complete. That's got to be very alluring.
Up to a point. Because where I can see the downside of it is you have to own a tangible thing. And for a lot of people, they may not have the space or the safety to keep that tangible thing for long. And that's the thing of like where a subscription is going, okay, well, no one can actually steal my subscription. Well,
Yeah. So that's the thing is I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not so sure about the safety, the really stellar record of everybody's accounts being safe all the time. I get a letter every other week that, oh, hey, yeah, your stuff's been accessed. We're being magnanimous by offering you X number of months in credit reporting. And
yeah.
honestly, these like it's to the point now that I don't even recognize the names of the credit reporting companies because like this looks like a scam in itself. Why would I return this letter to Kroll? I don't know what Kroll is. This sounds like a side return to Kroll. It's sci-fi.
Well, but also I think, Jake, you and I live in pretty safe neighborhoods that if I owned a game station, I don't really have a gaming station. I don't know what you call it, a video thing.
It's okay. We've established that you're not a gamer. That's all
Yeah.
right.
But I'm also pretty confident that someone's not going to break into my house to take that.
Right.
And in other neighborhoods where kids may want to have those types of things, it's going to be stolen faster than if they had a subscription somewhere and their stuff was stolen.
I
that
mean,
way.
not to act like either you or I could speak to why somebody would make that sort of choice, but I don't know that those things get stolen because, well, I'd like to play Donkey Kong. It might be that those things get stolen because they have a high dollar value, and these retro devices do not have a high dollar value.
Right.
They're
No one
actually
really
more
knows.
accessible from a price standpoint. You want to buy the Xbox, you're out what $400 or $500, and then you got to subscribe to things for the thing to really do what you want it to do. So the total cost is even higher. You want to do these retro things, it's anywhere from like $12 to, not much more than that. So I don't know that people are very concerned about, oh no, there's a finite thing, I could lose it. That's very true for the alternative as well. But point is, retro, as we would understand it, is on the rise in that category. It's nowhere near what your AAA game stuff is pulling in because those things cost more to consume.
Mhm.
But it's an interesting development also in light of other firms. Like I think I read the other day where Sony filed a patent for an AI that would play the game for you if you're having a hard time with a section.
Okay, hold on. One, that sounds horrible. But two, if that was available when we were kids, how much would you have said AI take over Julian in after level 2?
Well, I was going to say, do they call it the Big Brother AI? Because, which is kind of a 1984 nod, it might as well be, but because that's essentially, will you give me that controller? I'll get you past the water level here. God.
I think I remember trying to hold my breath in the water level.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, like how does Mario do this?
I was like, this is so unrealistic.
Yeah. Prior to this point, totally get that an Italian would have an issue with mushrooms and turtles, but this is too much. But no, it's just pretty interesting that if you've got this ascendant trend, and on the other end of things is kind of going, hey, look, the point of playing games isn't to enjoy them or to find ways to solve the puzzle. The point is to watch the cutscene, and we're going to create a technology that would let you not game, but to just, I don't know. This is a very expensive show for you to have purchased.
Yeah.
You can watch it. And so it seems like there's pretty divergent things going on there. And I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know that space for more agency when it comes to something pretty important like play. Um, I don't know that younger set needs to have had a personal experience to as a reference point to try to recapture. I think I think you just kind of describe, what the experience is like between column A and column B, and it seems like they're choosing column B just on its merits.
So there is an arcade near me in North Texas, and I don't know how many locations they have, but it's called Free Play.
Yeah.
And I've taken our nephews there before. Um, it was $10 per person to go in, but then once you're there, it's unlimited arcade playing, pinballs, all sorts of stuff. And it's such a throwback to
Yeah.
whenever, like, we would go to our arcade of choice, which was Aladdin's Castle. And you have people running around, you have kids running around, eating pizza, drinking sodas, all that stuff. But Free Play also has tournaments, and they have different tournaments for the different arcades. And so you would sign up, whether it's a team tournament or individual tournament. But it's a way for people in the gaming community and also just nostalgia players to come in and try to compete on an arcade of choice in whatever tournament. So it's also one of those things like in the old arcades where you could put your initials in the high score.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, listeners, Julie's initials have never been on a high score
Yeah.
screen. Pinball, love me some pinball. But it to see even that type of business doing well and having
Mhm.
people come in, and again, it's around community. It's not necessarily around the game itself, but also they have a lot of arcades, and those arcades have to be maintained, and there's electronics in them that have to be replaced and all that stuff. So like part of me is going like, where do they find those replacement parts? Because I can't imagine that there's a factory out there still making them at a rate that's valid in the cost of it being created.
Yeah. It's interesting to me, like the point you made there again is around like the idea of community, and that's something that maybe isn't facilitated by tech as we understand it today. It's not facilitated by that the way it's been thought of
Right.
for quite some time. That you said, I don't want to be as connected because I'd rather be communal.
Right.
And there is a difference in connection, probably is a misnomer. And if anything, it's probably just a marketing concept. That technology actually works to divide people. Whereas, okay, yeah, like something like an arcade, yeah, you actually can build a sense of community because it's real and it's immediate, and you got to deal with you being a real person and them being a real person, and that's a good thing to go through. But I'm saying all of that as somebody that can be nostalgic,
Yeah.
has that personal experience to be able to tell the difference. I will say though, I mean, I'm not familiar with Free Play. There's something like that up here. Um, if they really wanted to recreate that experience and feed that nostalgic itch, or at least give a new generation what that experience was actually like, the idea of unlimited play is not on the table. You've got $5 worth of quarters and that's it, and then we're getting all the rest of the kids, and mom is taking you to pro cuts, and we're all getting a bad hairdo.
No, where did we get haircuts done? Was it Sam? Is it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, where they used to give you the paper airplanes and they would break in 30 seconds.
A little styrofoam fighter, planes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But that absolutely ruled. And that's the thing, is like, hey, you know what? My brain at that age, probably not that different from any kid's brain at that age now. They would find that awesome also, probably. Maybe without the right kind of frame of reference, who knows? But I don't know. I found it kind of heartening that a younger generation is finding some value and appeal
Mhm.
in what I see as a nostalgic alternative for them, they might see it as a novelty. But either way, they're making that choice. So that's to say, maybe if you've got old games lying about and you care about whether there's a market for those things, yeah, sure, there totally is. Whether it's a kid or not, you got grown people that will pay good money for that stuff. But even take the money out of it, you probably have an asset there that would tee up a really cool experience that younger people really could use.
Yeah, I agree. And also, like as you were talking, I think there's a difference between collector's item and nostalgia because like if you're a collector of art or that type of thing, you put it in, you put it on a wall and you look at it and that's it. Whenever you buy, especially a video game, you don't just let it sit there. You
Right.
play it.
Oh, of
And I think
course.
that's the thing of like you want to bring back all the noises that
Hmm.
we experienced at grandma's house whenever we brought our Nintendos and all of her cousins are sitting there and Julie still can't play the Nintendo because all the cousins are playing it and I can't play. But yeah, it's fun.
I mean, it sounds like you got a little bit of unresolved stuff there,
I do.
which maybe,
I'll talk
maybe
about
that's a later episode.
it. No, maybe that's just a session and bring it with my therapist.
Very good. Well, cool. Thanks for letting me kind of like go on about it. But that's
I
fine.
love it.
Yeah,
All right. Well, thanks, Jake. I'll talk to you later.
go play some video games.
Goodbye.